Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here with another North Louisiana guy up in Monroe, Louisiana from Neville High School. Enyce Sledge, fresh off of a junior year where he was a big part of that Tigers team that made another deep playoff run. But I know we'll talk a little bit about he and his class of 2022 teammates have some even bigger things in mind this year. And beyond that, uh, 8 offers here in the last month and a half. And so I know it's been an exciting time for you on the recruiting trail as well. And man, I appreciate you. I know it's a busy stretch. You're just finishing basketball season. You're talking to these college coaches, trying to get your work in for spring and everything. So I appreciate you chatting, man. How's everything been going?
Everything's been going good, and thank you for having me on here.
You got it, man. My pleasure. I know we talked before about how much time I spent at Neville during my years as the News Star. And so anytime I get a chance to chat with guys like Coach Tannehill or you or Will or Lorenzel or any of those guys, it's always fun to kind of takes me back a little bit to living up there for a couple of years.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with some of the recruiting and then work our way back to some of your game and what the expectations are going to look like for senior year and everything. You finished your junior season, still waiting on that first college scholarship offer, and then the beginning of February, the Cajuns down in Lafayette extend that scholarship offer. And then, as I mentioned, it's been 8 total since then, starting with those guys. Take me through the day when that first offer came and just what that conversation looked like and what the emotions were to realize that some college things were starting to fall into place.
It was very exciting, I was expecting the call, Coach Tim told me, later on that day before my game, he was going to hit me up. So, I was kind of expecting that call, So it was coming closer to our game. We were coming to halftime, and Coach Tim, just hit me up. Hey, you got to sit. So I'm like, oh God, like, I think I'm about to get offered, I'm getting very excited, I'm like, thank you, God, it's a blessing, dream come true. So, me and Coach Tim get on the phone, he was like, hey, I'm about to make your day, more exciting, more happy for you, you finna be a big time prospect, we had to be the first school to get our hands on you. So, he said, we want to offer you a full ride scholarship at UL, I was very happy, I had a lot of coaches follow me, SEC, Mississippi State, Tennessee, a lot of people, it was very exciting.
Had you had before that, had Coach Tim and the Cajuns and those guys, had they been in contact with you before that and kind of opened up some of that relationship to where you knew you kind of had a good rapport and were on their radar?
Yes, sir.
And what if some of your conversations with those guys looked like in terms of, you mentioned they see you as a guy that can be a big-time college football player. What did they tell you stood out about your game and what they'd had a chance to see from you so far that made them feel like, yeah, I mean, we want this guy to come to Lafayette if we can convince him this is the right place at the next level?
What they told me was when they watched my film, they like my passion for the game. They like how I came off the ball strong with my hands, got the D-line knocked back. I can pass rush. I can do whatever you need me to do, They were kind of telling me they can tell I played with a chip on my shoulder this season, which I did, because, every time I step on that field, I think about what me and my family have been through, and I just play, every old lineman in front of me, I got to dominate, if I get beat one play, I think about it. I'm like, in my head, it's like, he taking money away from me and my family. So now, I got the next possession, I got to let this position go and I got to kill next possession.
Have you always played with that sort of an energy and an edge from a time that you were younger, or when do you remember things kind of clicking for you or hitting into that gear where you took the intensity up another notch?
It was kind of this year, me and my family been through a lot. So, that notch, just up, I just thought about being me and my family, going into my junior year, my first year there, I played as a sophomore, but not much, I took on a big role when one of our, starters got hurt, Tyler Purrier, I took on a big role as a sophomore, I made plays. I didn't make plays how I did my junior year, but, I kind of stepped up, I made plays. I played pretty high, I was, pretty nervous, I played pretty high, wasn't very good with my hands my sophomore year. I'll say, they looked at me as an offensive lineman my sophomore year, and it wasn't very good. But my junior year came. I just played. I stayed in with it. I learned like over the summer coming into my junior year. I played. I worked on my all time. I worked on my game. To become a pure D lineman. Staying low, using my hands and my hips. Coach Hernan put in some work with me and the guys over the off season. He took the time with me and my teammates over the summer, putting in work with us. Him and Coach Lewis, working on our loading this pad level, get off, hands, hips, and that really kind of progressed into my junior season, having a great year. That's when I finally like maximized the pad level, as a pure D lineman. I got the mindset as a pure D lineman now. Because, like I said, as a sophomore, they looked at me as kind of an offensive line type of guy. I was just coming in from Wasman High School. I wasn't, very great, I'm a pretty big kid, so they was like, oh, this kid, I was expecting me to come in and play big, but it wasn't like that. I had to learn, take the time and learn my sophomore year. But God blessed me to get playing time as a sophomore, once one of our starting D tackles, Tyler Perry, he got hurt, and I had to step up, I probably, I ain't know much, but, I stepped up and made plays whenever the team needed me. So, I just kind of, took the time to talk to myself like, hey, you got to get with it. You got to get with the program. Big things about to start happening, and my teammate, Will Campbell, he told me every game, just play with a chip on my shoulder, dominate everybody that's in front of me, and big things going to start happening in my junior season. And, like he said, it's, dream come true. God blessing me, I'm just taking it in, taking anything I can get in, no matter what it is.
Yeah, I was going to ask you with that kind of hunger and intensity that you had after feeling like your sophomore year wasn't as good as you would have liked it to have been, to get all that work in the off season and come out and have the type of junior year that you had and have the success and have some games where you were really a huge difference maker up front on defense for your team. How fulfilling was that to see the puzzle start kind of coming together and realize that you were starting to reach some of that ceiling that you knew you still had in front of you?
It was very great. I was kind of like getting excited, but I had to calm myself down, like calm down. You starting to, get in, don't get too happy because, you might make this play, then next play, you might come out real high and the O lineman might, dominate you. So, just, stay locked in, stay keyed in, stay low and keep playing,
You mentioned keeping the level head, and we talked some about the recruiting side. The Cajuns offer, you start getting follows from coaches all over the country. And then the next offers are Southern Miss, Troy, ULM, Southeastern Louisiana, Marshall, Western Kentucky, and then most recently yesterday, Memphis offering. What has it been like to try to keep that same perspective with regards to the college side of things, to knowing, okay, I'm starting to get a lot of attention for my game, but keep your mind on what's in front of you in terms of the off-season workload and how much better you can continue to be?
What it's been like, it's been kind of stressful, trying to manage the time, in school, dealing with coaches, want to get on Zoom calls, want to, know how my day's been, me trying to, worry about schoolwork, staying on top of my grades and, handling my business on the field and on the court and, dealing with track,
Yeah, because, we mentioned you just finished up basketball season, you're getting into track season, so it's a bit of a juggling act for you right now.
Yes, sir.
But to have the opportunity to have some of those conversations with the college coaches, you mentioned, we talked a lot, I guess, about the specifics of the UL relationship and them being on you for a while and what they saw of your potential. What have some of those other college conversations looked like? What have been some things that have stood out in terms of some of those first contacts with some of these schools and them extending the offer and what they see from you and what you've had a chance to learn about them and their program so far as well?
It's been very great, with the recruiting process, most of the coaches, they hit me up, they show the energy, they tell me straight up, they're going to treat me like my son. If I did commit to that program on and off the field, they're going to stay on me. They're going to check up on my grades, if I did commit to that program, they're going to stay on me on and off the field, they're going to check up on me every time,
What does this offseason look like for you, whether it be, hopefully we'll have some things open up in June and you guys will get a chance to go visit some schools and actually get to some campuses. So I don't know if you have some plans in mind already in terms of some schools you'd love to go see, or even just sort of the workload. You talked a lot about the strides you were able to make last year and become a real true defensive tackle. If you have some things in mind just in terms of the workload this offseason, either way, what are some things that you kind of are entering this spring and then summer in mind that are going to be kind of big for you moving forward?
I would say, I'm going to take my first visit at, UL Lafayette, to get a chance to like actually see the coaches in person, because I'm tired of this, dead period that's going on. I want to get a chance and, experience the vibes from the coaches face to face, because I want to know like, hey, is this the right school for me? Are they showing, the energy, that I want, as a player that's going to probably be at their university soon? Never know. I just want to experience that face to face because, like I said, it's me and a lot of more athletes, that want to take these visits, to get the feel of trying to decide what's best for them, But I'm just leaving it up in God's hands, praying and hoping, that me and these other athletes around the world get to take that visit,
Yeah, no doubt. We're at a point where we're now looking at the dead period extending for as much as at least 15 months. If you guys are able to get back on campuses in June, it'll be a 15-month dead period. And I know that's been really frustrating to the 2021 and 2022 guys, but hopefully we see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit and you guys can get out there come June.
Yes, sir.
As far as the work side of things, are there certain areas of your game that you have that you're looking at as really big focuses for you this offseason that you think, this, and this are some things that I really want to lock in on and make some big improvements on? Or is it more just kind of all around staying active, continuing to get through different drill work and kind of fine tune technique all around?
I'll say my main thing I'm working on this offseason is my feet, getting off the ball fast, Coach Herndon, like I said, Coach Herndon worked with me, and I've kind of, mastered it my junior year, playing on the line with him, sharing these moments with my teammates, with Coach Herndon, Coach Lewis, we just got a nice kid, from Bastrop High School, a brother/teammate, and he's a nice size kid. He's 6'6", 300 pounds, his name is Lance Hurd. I'm excited to play on the line with him alongside with Samari Wright, Kendall January, Fobbs White, Isaiah Brown. I'm ready to, experience my last season with these guys, because I got a lot of guys that's looking up to me, not only as a teammate, as a big brother. So, I'm kind of, improving my game every day when I'm at home, working on my hands, my finesse moves, my feet, because I got to take on a bigger role this year. And I want to step up whenever the team needs me, every rep, every play, every time. No matter what position they call me at, I'm coming in to dominate.
Talking about some of those other guys around you, what is it like to work with those guys? You mentioned some of the defensive linemen around you, as well as we talked some about Will Campbell on the offensive line and getting some valuable practice reps against guys like that in practice. You'll probably be more against some of those interior offensive linemen, but I'm guessing you and Will may have butted heads a time or two along the way as well. The matchups in practice and the ability to have those type of other athletes and competitors around you, what does that mean to you as a young athlete as y'all are able to kind of iron sharpens iron sort of thing and get that sort of work in, not just on Friday nights, but all week long?
It means a lot to me. Every time we step on that field, we brothers on and off field, but when it's time to match up and, rep up against each other, it's blood for blood. We going at each other, making each other better for those Friday nights, to, play for our families, play for everything, that we, love, we make each other better. I enjoy every time, we step on that field, before those Friday nights, we work, push each other, work hard, love on each other, it may be some ups and downs, on some plays and some reps, but at the end of the day, we, push each other, work hard, keep each other's minds right, focusing on the game plan, just helping each other get better.
As you guys turned the page into the off season, and as I mentioned, you guys had a strong season last year, but I know the expectation at Neville is pretty much be in there competing for a state championship just about every year. What were some of the early conversations for y'all like in terms of how you viewed this past year and now what the goal is and how you want to move forward, particularly for you guys that are going to be seniors next year for your last go round in that jersey?
You know, we are held in a high expectation. You know, we got enough, talent, enough players, to come out there and help. And some of our lower classmen are gonna be helping. Taking on bigger roles this year too. So we held in a high expectation. We're expecting a state championship. With the amount of talent we have in our class. We just taking it one day at a time. We grinding. Everybody's putting in the work. Nobody, taking our reps. We just pushing. We working hard because we know that we have a chance to win it this year and, give Neville, their 13th, championship, and to feel the experience, with the dome, getting the ring, me and my teammates, we want it bad. We're working hard. We want it bad, so we pushing each other every rep, when we get tired, we picking up another teammate, let's go. What we trying to do, what we trying to get to, we already proved that our junior season. Let's prove it again and let's go even further and get that championship. And we ain't going to let nobody stop us, when the season starts, every game that, we play, that we win, we're going to start the day off 0-0. Like it's our first game every day,
For folks that are just kind of getting a chance to know you, what would you tell them about who Enyce Sledge is, whether it be as a young football player, as a young man, if there's anything that we haven't gotten across through some of this conversation about your progress and your work ethic and what it's been like to get some of these college opportunities falling in place? How would you kind of introduce yourself to folks around the state?
How would I kind of introduce myself to folks? They probably wouldn't look at me as a guy, with office, but they'll look at me as a big guy, like I know you play football, this and that. They probably wouldn't look at me as a guy with office because, the way they approach me, I wouldn't like show that type of energy, like I don't really talk about it as much. The only time I talk about it is when they ask me about it. Like, do you have any offers? This and that. You're a pretty nice sized guy. I'm expecting a lot of things out of you. So, when they meet me, I'm a very energetic guy. I love to talk to anyone, no matter race, color, whatever are you, I'm making friends with anybody. I'm a very, like I said, I'm a very energetic guy. I love everybody, no matter who you are, what you are.
Good deal, man. I know the college coaches are obviously loving you because one offer is coming after another, and I feel like there's going to be many more still ahead. And again, I know it's busy times for you up there in Monroe, juggling everything that we were talking about, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes and chatting about some of it with me and just kind of getting to know one another and share some of your story with some more folks that they get a chance to check this video out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. Again, he's Enyce Sledge, the rising defensive tackle for Neville, a huge part of that really talented 2022 class up there. Has those 8 offers. We mentioned Cajuns first in line, several schools around the state and around the region, with Memphis joining the mix most recently this week. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jared Roser.
Have a good one. Thank you for having me on the show.